Hello coin collectors out there. Welcome back to the Big D Coins channel. I know a lot of you enjoyed the Morgan dollar video that I made not too long ago. It was a Morgan dollar dated 1890. So I wanted to make some other videos about the other older coins that I've got in my collection and decided to focus in on pennies that you might not have seen before. So in today's video, we are going to talk about this one right here in the very center. This is what's known as the Matron head cent. So this one was made from 1816 all the way up until 1839. After the Matron head cent was made, we had the braided hair cent, which was made from 1839 until 1857, as well as 1868. Unfortunately, I don't have one of those. But then after that was the flying eagle cent, which is this one right here. Once we flip it over, we'll be able to see a little bit of the flying eagle imagery to it. That was made for a very short period of time, just from 1856 up until 1858. Then after that, starting in 1859 all the way until 1909, we had the Indian head penny, which is represented by this one right here, which is dated 1862. So three very old United States pennies that we're going to talk about in today's video. Now, all of them are kind of worn out, or I should say they are very worn out. And this one is in a plastic covering to it to protect it. So getting the lighting right and the details might be a little bit tricky, but I'll do the best that I can to kind of share with you the images that you see right here on this beautiful large cent penny. So a little information about the Matron head penny. It's also known as the coronet penny as well, so in case you've seen that before. So the Matron penny was reintroduced after the War of 1812 that halted some of the production of pennies, so then they redesigned it a little bit, and then in 1816 they came out with this one right here, and the design of the penny was stabilized for a little bit. Prior to this design right here, they had been changing the design all the time, making slight tweaks to it, but then they stuck with this one for about 2 decades. So some information about this coin. It was made, as I said, from 1816 all the way until 1839. During this time, there were 24 different dates of issue that were made. They were all made at the Philadelphia Mint. During this time, the total production of all of the coins in total for the Matron head cent was 62,823,073 pieces. The lowest reported mintage occurred in 1821. However, there is unreported mintage is suspected to have occurred in 1823. So the lowest reported mintage that we've got in 1821 was 389,000. Now 1823, they didn't report an official mintage of that particular year. So the highest mintage year, you might be wondering about that as well, is 1838. So the second to last year that they made these coins. The average production was 2.7 million. Now, as far as the one that I've got right here, which is dated 1825, the mintages for the 1825, just 1.4 million of these that were made. So this coin right here, as we can see, by the bottom right, is worth about $10. Now that will fluctuate depending on the grade of the coin and who you're buying it from, of course, but I would say $10 will get you a entry-level Matron head United States penny. Now these are very large cents and they've got a lot of copper to them. They're actually made with pure copper and have a weight of 10.89 grams and a diameter of approximately 29 millimeters. So let me flip it over so we can see the reverse of this coin right here. Pretty simple design. The design of the reverse is kind of carry forward a little bit to the flying eagle cent that we're going to look at next. So we see United States of America going around the outside. Then we've got 1 cent in the dead center of the coin. So we've got some very nice aspects of this coin. A very large coin. It was very expensive to make these, as well as very bulky to carry them around because of their weight and their diameter. So the next coin that was made is what's known as the braided hair. Now the braided hair is a slight variation of this one right here, except it's just got kind of more flowing hair. Unfortunately, I don't have one, but I do have the next one in the series after the braided hair. So this one we might be able to get a little bit better lighting on just because it doesn't have that plastic case to it. So let me zoom in. and you can slightly see the outline of a flying eagle. Now I know this coin is very, very worn out, but you know, I figured it'd be worth kind of sharing with you. We can get the basics on the coin despite it being rather worn out. So some vintage information about this coin right here. It was made in the years 1856, 57, and 58. However, 1856, very, very low mintages. That's because it was not issued for circulation. It was struck as a pattern to show Congress how the new cent would look, and later proof pieces were minted for collectors. So that was in the year of 1856. There were only 2,000 of these that were made. If you've got one for some miraculous reason dated 1856, you have a very, very valuable coin in front of you. So other than 1856, the only two other years in which they minted this were 1857, which had a mintage of 17,450,000, and 1858, which had a mintage of 24,600,000. So 17 million for 1857, 24 million for 1858. Does anyone want to take a guess on what year this coin was made? I've got no idea. There's no real way of telling. The mintage on the coin would be at the bottom of the coin on the obverse, but as you can see, my coin is quite worn out. So what you're looking at the reverse right here, we can see design a little bit better, but we see a mix of American items included in this agricultural wreath, which includes corn, wheat, cotton, and tobacco. Unfortunately, we can't really make out the details, but it's cool to see the outline of this coin, and you can definitely differentiate it from this next coin right here, which of course is the Indian head penny. Now there is still a chance that you could come across these while coin roll hunting, but the odds of that are pretty unlikely. But you might want to, you could always purchase one because they were made for a very long period of time. They were made for 50 years, and there were quite a lot of coins that were produced. So the highest period of mintage is for 1907, in which the Indian head cent, there were 108 million of them made. There was also that was 1907 was the only year with a mintage of over 100 million. The lowest mintage was the 1909 S Indian head cent, in which there were only 309,000 of them that were made. The average for the series is 34 million. So that includes 54 regular issues of the series. That of course is because there were a couple of different, there was an 1864 copper and an 1864 bronze cent, as well as they had the San Francisco mint for 1908 and 1909. So that's why the mintages aren't 50, despite it being the number of coins minted isn't 50, despite it being made for 50 years. All right, let's flip it over to the reverse. So we see another wreath on this side of the coin right here. As far as the metal content of the coin, the first composition of the Indian head cent was 88% copper and 12% nickel. That proved, however, difficult to strike, so they switched up the composition to 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc during 1864. For this year, pieces were struck in both copper, nickel, and in bronze. So majority of the time, it was 95% copper, 5% tin, and then in 1864, they switched up a little bit and they made coins in copper, nickel, and in bronze, a copper nickel combination as well as in bronze. So very nice coin right here. Fortunately, we can make out the year on it, so let me share with you the mintages from 1862. There are 28,075,000 of them that were made, and they all will not have a mint mark on them. All right, let's quickly recap about the coins we looked at today. We had the Indian head cent. Previous to that, we had the Flying Eagle cent, and then not featured here was the braided hair cent, and then we had the Matron cent right here, also known as the coronet head penny. All right, everyone, thank you very much for watching. If you are into coin collecting, please do check out some of these other videos on the channel. Thank you very much, everyone, and best of luck coin collecting out there. Enjoy.